Abusua me mo wache misa mo kwaba Addo ba daily update TV so ene bia wa be piem na ahwe dwumade na subscribe na share na de amafoforo so ensaka bi yenye nim se Akufo-Addo ke kansem bia ehia respond se no hand power ogojina ba bi na no kasa asem no na se ya multi platform na manu na o man panyere e kasa asem se or hand over my JM or best say a legacies. So maybe not make us a legacy ben like Akufo-Addo no or come one seminal legacy no need dear hen or send go body and part my Professor Naana so just say wa reply or no so the same thing will be as I was saying ka legacy or say okay mama for credit Emma AKSM answer na ya to aso no copy full interview na me ka say Akufo-Addo legacy be no come wase mama na busa no professor ana me kana say wo busa Akufo-Addo say legacy be mama dey all be fix things legacy be no ana anti-gable no ana legacy eno kura no say Akufo-Addo wo san so wan san obi nim legacy na ebi ne dian ebi ne tachiman south na e bo nipa 82 nana legacy na ebi ne dian ebi ne mismanagement eye economy and legacy nana legacy na ne dian ye ka legacy amahama na wo legacy obi say legacy ben ebi ne KJT Dubai Akufo-Addo ya we legacy bi no na na otu Asante Mara ya we legacy bi no tafo na no metwa mo tafo no mahama ya de tafo market pa legacy na bi no oko eye afali military government legacy enti no professor bizanze legacy be mahama ba obe fixe ne ma Akufo-Addo say wo be hand power mahama say le wo de be ma Dr. Mahmoud if fundamentals are weak nana or no dear no bit just say legacies no ana professor bizanze was en ko kan on say Akufo-Addo onya hwinti no wontimi nka hwe ti professor question say legacy be na wo ade na wo money din abusua me mam kasa na we beba conversation segment wo na ya beto ankomade di so enti ha daily update political news padia ntwemwa onya bebia yenkotie professor Naana Kwadman and someone oka professor in our time the first female vice president our ban incoming yenkotie no na yemra emeto ankomade I daily update we give you the best ye juma 24/7 the time be any borum na we sabeka news ni bi
wise up because Mahama will destroy your legacy. He should list the legacies. He should have referred to the legacies. Why didn't he? Has Mahama ever come to destroy anything? He comes to fix things. When we had electricity difficulty, he fixed the problem.
Does that scare you?
No.
No, it doesn't scare you.
It doesn't scare me.
No.
Because you know that you're not going to be working by yourself or alone, and that even though expectations are extremely high, you know that you're going to be in the company of many others who also want same things as you do. The sense of collective responsibility to some level is comforting, if I may put it that way. Yeah.
Wow. Now, this is the question. I want to ask you this, We have two clips. Folks, take a look at these two clips very, very quickly.
Now, do allow me to tell you a little bit about myself, very briefly.
Hey! Was it like a nationalist on some?
I think that whether it's a speech or action, will be dictated by the time, the place, the context. In 2020, if you listen to the clip, and I believe you have, you'll see that I spent a considerable amount of time introducing myself. I was coming from the campus, from the ministry, and on the campus, let's say that it was a smaller republic, if I may use the word. And I had grown on the campus. I'd spent all my life on the campus. And so I was known in a certain context. Then branching out to the ministry. Again, my focus was the ministry, and therefore, that is where I worked. Now you move to the ministry onto the national stage, and you shouldn't assume that everybody knows you. And therefore, you have to introduce yourself to people. So maybe this is what you call the academic or professorial, however defined. And then you move on, and you stay in that position for a while. The elections are over. You keep your eyes open, your ears on the ground. You are also affected like others are about development. And then you have a chance to play that role again. You cannot speak like you were doing the previous time. As if nothing has happened, as if you don't care, as if you don't know. And then where have you been? And why would anybody entrust you to a position of this nature if like you've been asleep? So it is a question of the context, it's a question of the time, it's the question of the space. Time and space will really determine, you know, the kind of emphasis you will put on that role.
Okay.
So I think perhaps that accounts
that accounts for the the second one, fire.
I'm just referring to things we all know.
Okay. I agree.
So
yeah. And during the time, the last election you were nominated, and this one, there was a period. And during that period, there was a lot of talk on the street. Oh, Jem Besisano, you know, Jem Fanu Kubio, you know, one deliver. Well, you say, all sorts of things going around. Did you hear any of them?
Oh, I heard lots of them.
Lots of them?
Yes. And you see, I found them interesting in the sense that I also asked myself, so what did the public expect of that announcement? You know, what was she supposed to deliver? And what didn't she deliver? So for me, it was a learning experience. And my wish was to have engaged more people than I did. What exactly do you mean? You know, where are you coming from? You know, what's the issue? What do you expect a vice presidential candidate to do? You know, so it was a learning experience. Some said, oh, we thought you would come and be able to throw the government off and bring us in power, which is a good expectation. So exactly how did you expect? What was the process? You know, what did you expect to have been done? And where do you think I went wrong? Because you must also accept that you're not perfect, and people will judge you by what their own expectations are. So if you know what the expectations are, if you know they are legitimate, if you know they are possible, you go ahead. You know, so I didn't take it in bad faith.
Okay.
No.
In all this period, was there a time that Jem had to assure you, Naana stay on one alcohol, or did you sense that he was also going through a thinking process?
Listen, what I knew was the party's own way of doing things. For example, it is the flag bearer who decides. It is his decision, and we must leave him alone to make that decision, not to prejudge them. Assuming things changed, I don't know, a month, and he had assured you 3 months earlier, then what's he going to do? You know, so you join this group, there's so much work you are doing, just keep focus. Keep focus and get the job done. And actually, you know, it's not as if you came in with the intention that you'll be nominated as a vice presidential candidate. That, at the ministry, none of that ever crossed my mind. You know, I'd just been asked to do a job, and I was trying to do it to the best of my ability. That was it. Okay, so we exited early 2017. There were other things we needed to do. We just continued doing them, you know. And I don't think it's a question of, or at least for me, oh, I'm determined to play this role and therefore. And if you don't play, then what happens? It means you don't like the group anymore, or you came for a self-promotion, and therefore it didn't happen, so you are angry. Then people should question why you were even there in the first place.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I remember way back 2012, they're having this presidential debate. And among the moderators questioning the candidates was you and Kojo Ponkroma.
You see,
you remember?
I remember too well. And it's a long story to that. You know, I'd handed over, my term as Vice Chancellor had come to an end. And I had handed over that date, which was 1st October. And I was heading out to UNESCO. And at UNESCO, we have long meetings. It's a 3-week stretch. And so I told myself, this time, I'm going to give UNESCO my fullest attention. Because I'm not going to worry what's happening on campus, call my registrar every day, Pro VC, is everything okay? I'm just going to focus because I'm done.
Okay.
So I went off to UNESCO. We started our meetings, and not too long afterwards, I got a message from the Secretariat that I've been getting some phone calls. Somebody says it's urgent. I said, what has happened? Is there a problem I should know? So I quickly called the line, and I spoke to somebody, name withheld, and was telling me about this interview. And I said, listen, do you guys know the kind of work that should go into this? Because, you ask our candidate hard questions, everybody complained. And that told me that I was fair. Because it means that I was consistent with each candidate.
The same accusation.
And at the time, I didn't know that I was ever going to work with His Excellency John Mahama in that close. I saw him as one more person at that debate, and I think the questions were fairly distributed, to the candidates. And
so let me get this right. The question, you went through the whole pile and selected your own questions, or?
No. What I wanted to know was what has been reported about them. Okay. And then also to give me everybody's manifesto, let's say the past couple of times. So I read them, but I didn't study the NDCs as closely because I was just doing it for the interview. So if there's a question on health, what have they been saying? What has been the trend for CPP on health till now? As you know, you are needed. There are people who need more than others. As the elders tell us, not all our fingers are the same. And the smallest finger didn't decide to be the smallest finger, just found itself that way. And if we must all play on a certain field, you must make it possible for everybody to come on board, okay? Even if you just take the height, some will need 3 more blocks to stand on, others may not need them. And therefore, everything I've also done, teaching and so on, students will come from different backgrounds and all of that. You need to be sensitive, and you need to be able to support those who might not be as strong. So when we introduce things like counseling, we introduce tutorials and all of that, I'm very, very much interested. And you'll notice that all some need is just a little push, So I came with the same idea to the ministry. And so paying attention to the public basic schools was very important for me. So yes, a lot of parents are voting with their let's say we are competing over something. You may get it, I may get it. But once I know that the rules are clear, they are not in favor of one person against another, then when I lose, I don't have a problem. And the winner will also know that he has won and has the confidence to carry on with the reasons why he or she contested in the first place. Where you have a sense that that is not happening, it doesn't help. And so you know that, no, all of these things, we have to look at them again and do the right thing by everybody. When people don't feel that, or when people feel rather that they are being ignored, that they are not being respected, that they are being discriminated against, it doesn't make for a peaceful society. And so you need to look at again and ask yourself, so what are we about?
And that's what you feel is happening? That
we all know that is what is happening. I don't want to isolate you and say you know too.
If what you're saying is what we all know, how come we are all eerily quiet? You don't seem to hear anybody complaining.
I'm glad you are saying we are quiet. And I wish you will switch chairs so you'll tell me why you think we are quiet. But then you see, they all are to the disappointment. You see, there are people we respect so much, deeply. There are positions we respect so much, regardless who occupies that position. There are associations we love so much, we entrust them. There are all kinds of leaders in all kinds of positions that, whose opinions we accept. And so when those people now tend to be, using your word, quiet, in the face of things that are bothering everyone, it is very disturbing. Then you get confused. Maybe I shouldn't have trusted them, or maybe they only see the things that KSM does and not what Naana does. If you're running your own home and you want to have your favorite child and you're not favorite child, it means you've decided you don't want peace in the house because you won't get it. What you are doing is to provoke the other person you think you don't like to try and get your attention. And he'll use any means to get your attention. Assuming you are fair, there'll be calm, there'll be peace. So I think all of that adds to the disappointment. That, but we used to hear X talk a lot. So where is he? What's going on? Why is he quiet? Because you see, those voices are very important. As, again, you are making the path, you can't tell whether it's crooked or not. Somebody straightens you. And all of a sudden, that person is like, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. But we are not saying they should speak evil. Speak truth, see truth.
If they argue that truthfully, we don't see any evil.
That's fine.
That's fine.
We won't listen to them anymore. That's what it is. You see, they are reducing their own credibility. And it's not funny. Because somebody, or maybe there's a different method for this one, and there's a different method. That lack of consistency, rather, is not helpful. Because then it doesn't help the public to define who you are. You see? So it adds to the disappointment.
We're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, mellowed, and I'm thinking, we know, all of us know, including the voices and the non-voices know, that under JM, they were very, very, very loud. I don't want to mention the groups. We all know who we are. But very, very, very loud noises. Somehow, and Nanado, they are very, very quiet. Very.
Professor Eka Kenyan Sasemego. The woman is very brilliant. Mahamanya a year. Any papa, not all come from Mahama, said Mahama and Casan win papa. Mahama win papa. Was no clan and need Nasia be too soon as a running mate. One or Bonnet Juma says and time Mahama man, Minister of Education. It no no Bonnet Juma as a minister. To no Jene Juma Dane Eddie Abua Ghana. And it's a Mahama Tony is a friend say, Professor Brabe Mirani meet. No so Major. Abraboy Bokoy and one empe a impuntu and so. It's no hell, my men a professor na Ubo Jumans and Mahama choosing as a running mate. The woman was our credibility, or credibility part of the easy. In the MP before tries and come moving once being corrupt, like try to figure out some a year hidden a year dirty information be a farmer I mean so many. And then a ma a year chama to me. A shaz is on no criti. On wiring a criti. But I'm fat. Chama unti ma shante regina chama na mekano. Chama unti mo and your class of grand mamma. And your class with chama unti mo cabro for 2 hours. And so one some now catch a professor. But my men all credibility or I'm a cassa on the one time. Go and say, oh, you are inferior. Usha when any you are inferior. Wouldn't you usha? School no crawanko. Who is car a galamsey or no so credibility? I wish I daily update TV soon. And then I'll show you Medina, subscribe and share. Comment and so make Jenna Can't remember if you say comment and show. Yet one commodity in so. It's a professor a bisako for us legacy being our canvas. Because I will not hand over power, I will not hand over power at Dawson. Brana can several times. Akufo-Addo can in several times. Afoforo can. So they won't hand power over. They won't hand power. They won't hand over power to NDC Mahama. Abusuan. Akufo-Addo. His Excellency. Power belongs to the masses. Power belongs to the masses. It will make a statement here. We say the masses and the power and they have the authority to retract that power from you. And only 2024 7 December. But the man will be seen. God bless you.